It's getting harder to survive. It's getting harder to move forward. And at the same time, it's getting easier. At the end of 2022, I started to learn how to code. I started to figure out that I wanted to get into tech. I started reevaluating my life and where it was heading and how I was going to get forward in life and give my family a better life. I started looking into IT support, computer programming, all these different ways, HVAC, electrician, a bunch of different things. And I landed on computer programming. I started to dive deep into self-learning computer programming, which was wild because I was in my mid 30s and I had not learned anything new in a really long time. But I just knew that I wanted something different. I wanted something better in my life. So I really started to dive into it. Free Code Camp, Odin Project, YouTube tutorials, building websites, really diving in. And around that time is when AI was starting to get a little bit better. There were starting to be layoffs, pretty widespread. But I didn't let that deter me. I kept digging in every day. I was in this office. Well, I was at a different house at the time, learning as much as I can, focusing as much as I can, and kept remembering like why I wanted to do something better. Fast forward to a year and a half of me doing that. Nothing still came of it. The job market was still looking really bad. But I didn't care, man. I really didn't care. I just wanted to make it happen. So I made the decision to take out a lot of debt and go to a coding boot camp to fine tune my skills and also like have that certificate to help me with finding a job. I did the coding boot camp, completed that, and the job market was just getting worse and worse. And you could hear all the horror stories, but then you could also hear the people saying like, you can still get a job. You can still get a job. And I truly believed that I was going to be the one because I was willing to do the extra work. I was willing to network. I was going on podcasts. I was on LinkedIn. I was doing all these things and still nothing. I put in like 2,000 applications. I think I had like 3 first round interviews. I'm an ex-con, so one of them dropped me there. And one of them dropped me because I went to a coding boot camp, which actually worked against me. I don't know if that was an excuse or not, but they said we don't normally hire people from coding boot camps. We've had really bad experiences with them. So I kept trying, even though that was super discouraging. I kept trying, but at the same time, I'm taking on more debt. I'm trying to take care of my family. I'm doing all these things. I still don't have a regular job, which kind of led me into doing freelance web development for small businesses. I had did it early on in 2022, probably the end of 22, beginning of 23. I sold my first website and I didn't think much of it. And it escalated to more, right? Desperation. They call it the gift of desperation. Caused me to find different ways to make money because not only was I not able to get a job as a web developer or a software engineer, but I also couldn't go back to what I was doing before in behavioral health. I was getting job offers, but not for jobs that would pay enough money for me to support my family. And it was very discouraging. And I mean, even now, like it's still like, whew, sheesh. And I started to build my own business. I started reaching out to more small businesses. And I have found, I want to say, semi-success with that, right? Like I've had some really great months of income with that. And I've also had some really bad ones. And I'm still building it. I'm realizing it might take longer than I thought. I've switched my model of my business so I could get more reoccurring revenue and not so much of the one and done money. And I've also moved away from the websites being the focus, right? Like that's a good offer to get in there, but also like AI is just getting better and better. The market is super saturated because companies are laying off, which means there's less jobs, but then also all those people that got laid off, that's more people looking for work as a software developer. And I don't know, man. I took on all this debt. I've put in all this time to learn how to code and become a software developer. And then I've just stopped trying. right? I haven't applied to a software engineering position in a while. And even with my business, I'm not coding these websites. These are most drag and drop. Some are WordPress. Like I don't I just don't see the value in it anymore. But like it's also discouraging because like I've taken on all this debt and like now I'm paying for my school loans and also the debt that I took to survive while I was learning how to code. And it's super discouraging, right? And I just keep thinking about people that want to go out and do software development. People write me all the time, like, should I go to college? Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's like, I don't know the answer, but I want to tell you no, right? Like, I would not tell my kids to go learn how to code right now, right? The job market's really bad. AI is getting really good. And I hate to be like a doom and gloomer, but that's the reality, right? The reality is the economy is messed up. People are putting freezing hires, whatever. And also AI is getting good, right? So if you're not already in the field or like a senior mid-level and you can like connect all the dots, use AI to get rid of the junior, right? I don't know if it'd be worth it to really learn right now. Now, however, on the flip side, I'm also grateful for this situation for me. And I think it could be valuable to you too, because it taught me how to learn again, right? So like I've also had this new confidence that I can learn new things. I can learn new difficult things, right? And apply them in my life and better my life. But the focus of learning how to code to get a job, I don't think it's worth it anymore. I personally have not done that in my own life. I've completely given up. I've accepted that I will not become a W-2 software engineer, that I will be able to do freelancing, and a lot of the things that I've learned apply directly into the business that I have now, right? Like what are websites, marketing, all these different things, my YouTube channel, right? I wouldn't even have started this if it wasn't for me learning how to code. So it's like one of those double-edged swords, right? Like it's super valuable to learn that process of learning, getting new skills, all these different things that can come with that. But then also like the reality is that it's going to be extremely difficult, and there's a good chance that it's going to get more and more difficult as we move forward to become a software engineer. And I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there landing jobs, because people are. But what I'm saying is that number of people is smaller and smaller by the day. I personally put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money into becoming a software engineer to upskill my life. It did not pay off. It did not pay off in the way that I planned. It's paid off in other ways, which is good, but also you just have to be fluid, adapt, change, right? And that's the one constant in life anyways, is change. So I'm okay with that part, even though I'm really stressed out because while my business is doing okay, it's still not where I need it to be. I'm still taking on a little bit of debt here and there. And I have a lot more debt to pay from the school. And I just don't recommend other people going through it, because the majority of people that go through a coding boot camp are starting to learn code now. You're not going to be able to do it, right? And not saying that you can't, just saying that the majority is not going to be able to. And then you're going to be in a position where you didn't get a new job, you have a bunch of debt, and it's tough. It's tough. Prices are going up everywhere for everything, and it's a lot. It really is a lot. But yeah, I haven't coded anything in a while, not even like a basic HTML, CSS. I don't plan on it either, right? I'm glad that I have some of the skills and some of the understanding. It's helped me in my business with like little goofy things like URLs, headers, SEO, things like that. But I just don't really know how good this is going to be moving forward. So if you're out there thinking about learning to code now, I think that you just need to have the mindset of like, you're just wanting to learn a new skill. You're wanting to become a better person because you know more, and not so much for I'm going to go land a job. But on the flip side, I don't want to deter you from doing that, because you may be the one that actually gets the job. Right? But I'm just saying sometimes it fills up to luck or who you know. And that freedom that I was looking for wasn't necessarily going to come from getting a job as a W-2 employee as a software developer, right? Like I got into this to make more money, to buy back freedom for me and my family. I think my mind shift changed because I realized that I've put in all this time and effort into becoming a software engineer, and I haven't even got a job yet to start moving forward, right? And then move forward to what? Getting the job as a developer and getting laid off, AI replacing us, right? Anything could happen. And the job and the career that I had before, layoffs wasn't really a thing. So that was a new concept of like, oh, so I'm going to do all this work to get a job that I might not have later. And then I'm just in the same position again with maybe a little bit more experience, which could work, but I've seen it not work, right? But also like my goals are bigger than that, right? My goals are freedom, financial freedom, not fighting all the time and working so hard just to get a job. And I don't even really want a job to begin with, right? Like I want to produce money and produce value, but not necessarily by clocking in and making someone else $2 for every 50 cents I get. It's a lot. It's a lot. So with all that being said, this channel is probably not going to be so much coding focused, right? More business mindset, things like that. There's going to be a new direction just because a lot of people came to this channel because I was building websites with HTML and CSS. That's not the truth anymore, right? The truth is that I'm building a freelance business and websites are a primary sell in that business. That's not my focus as much anymore, right? I don't even know why I made this video. I just want to get my thoughts out there, right? Of what I thought and why I stopped learning how to code, and why I don't really recommend people to do it if you think that you're going to go accomplish a job, right? But I have to be careful with how I say that because like I said before, you could be the one that does. I just know that number is getting smaller and smaller and the future's looking bleaker and bleaker. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Later.